Vabbè, dai, Darillo, dai, Federico, dai, che salta, festevolo di più.
Amiche e amici, bentornati a CRESTA ALTA, il podcast di Federico e Danilo Gallinari.
Siamo live, ragazzi giovani. We have, I think, a special guest today, if I'm not wrong.
Listen, Danny, we have an incredible guest, especially for me. He's a basketball coach and he did something that nobody ever done in the history of Italy. He came to Italy and took over Pallacanestro Trieste for 1 year, and he was able to win to advance to the Lega Basket. So he's here with us, Jamion Christian.
It's great to be on. Thanks for having me, guys.
What's up, man? How we doing?
I'm great. I mean, it's the midst of basketball season, so
there we go.
That's the time of year, you know.
That's the grind. That's the grind right now.
Why, and how was the process of going to Italy to coach?
Straight to the juice of everything. Yeah. Okay.
You know, honestly, I mean, you guys are both doing it the opposite way, right? Like,
yeah.
It's just a lot to learn, whichever direction you're coming from. You know, you have a lot to learn culturally and how people see the game and how people have been taught the game. I mean, look, I had a great time. I had a great group of guys. I had guys like Ariel Falloy on the team who have so much experience and they're like great players, and Jonka, you know, who's a veteran of A1 forever. So I had a great group of guys I had a chance to work with, and we just tried to do it in a collaborative way, and you know, we put together a great season.
So how did you end up in Italy, right? You were in the USA first. You were coaching for college. Division One, George State, right? If I'm not wrong.
George Washington, Mount
George
St.
Washington,
Mary's,
there we go.
In Siena. I also worked at VCU in Bucknell and William and Mary. And, I had a long college, you know, a college career before.
So how did you end up in Italy? Where did everything start? Who told you about the job?
I got my start by doing exactly what you guys are doing right now. I had a podcast, and we were interviewing. You know, we're interviewing a lot of different people, and one of the guys we interviewed was Michael Archieri, who was the GM at the time of Varese, and him and I hit it off on a podcast. I did not know him before, and didn't know Varese before, and we have this podcast interview. We ended up going about 90 minutes or so, and we just really hit it off. And I remember walking downstairs and telling my wife, I said, I wish I could work for someone like that, because we just had such a connection. We both saw the game the same way. And little did I know, you know, about 6 months later, he was going to give me a call and ask me if I had any interest in making the jump across the pond. And I'm really glad I did.
There we go.
How do you like the city of Trieste? Anything that you didn't expect, what you expected, or how is it?
Hey, you know, I love it. I mean, my family and I really enjoy it. You know, what's interesting, you know, it being a port city in a city where we have a lot of tourism now because the cruise ships are coming through here. It's really easy to navigate. And I love the fact that our fans are so incredibly passionate about basketball. That's fun. I mean, you guys know what this is like when you're having a chance to be at a place that loves what you do. Sometimes that passion, if you're not playing great, spills one way. But when you're playing great, I don't know if there's a better place really to be. You know, we don't have a lot of other attractions. So the basketball game on Sunday or Saturday, that's the biggest event that we have here in Trieste. So I'm enjoying it, man. I really enjoy it. I really love it. And, you know, I'm looking forward to getting to know the city even more. As you guys know, being across the pond a bit, like, you know, the first year you're sort of getting your feet wet and trying to figure things out. And then that second year, you start to kind of branch out and get to experience some new things. And that's what me and my family are doing now.
So if you the first year you won the second division, this year you're gonna overachieve. The third year they're gonna give you the keys of the city, I think.
You know, they actually gave me a key to the city after last year.
See, I knew.
So we, you know, Michael and I already have a key to the city, which is pretty nice.
What are the biggest differences that you saw between college game and the Italian league?
Yeah, you know, I tell you what, the college game and the European game are more similar than the NBA game and the European game. Partly because of the rules. The ability to have someone that stands in like no defensive 3 seconds, for example. That's like that's the thing that makes European offenses have to move the ball and move bodies so much more than maybe if you watch an NBA game. Something's very similar to that in college. You've got to be able to move the defense in so many different ways because you can stand in the lane the entire time. Something I needed to learn about was just number one, you have expert players. And when you have expert players that have seen every sort of coverage, like we have, Jeff Brooks plays for us. And so Jeff and I always laugh in practice because I'm like, how many times have you seen an Iverson cut, in your career? He's seen it thousands of times. And so you just have these expert players who can make adjustments on the fly and can change the course of a game just with their mind and their IQ and what their understanding is. And then I would say, secondly, like offensively, expert players can layer on offense so much faster than college players. Last year we put in our offense and we play with a lot of flow and movement and there's a lot of optionality for guys to play with. And coaching expert players, they were able to layer on these options so quickly and can really change the course of an offense with their mind and understanding the game, what the defense is going to do. That makes it a lot of fun to coach because they can make plays instinctually and they can connect together a little bit differently than college kids who are younger and they're still trying to figure that part out.
How much Italian are you speaking during timeout?
Andiamo is about it. I've learned some curse words that I use occasionally with the referees. I got to make sure they know I'm here.
Strictly with the referees.
How many texts have you gotten since last year?
Dude, so this year I've gotten 2 technical fouls. Last year I got 3. I got kicked out of a game last year as well.
Oh, you got
I need to know this story.
Well, we're playing Fort Lee at Fort Lee. It's a tough part of the year. We are actually, I think we're sitting in first or second place last year, early in the year. And then we had a key injury and the season got really tough when we got an injury. We just really struggled to try to find our footing.
Yeah.
We go play Fort Lee, which is an incredible place to play. We talk about passionate fans right on top of you. And we were playing bad. I mean, we were down a lot in the second half. And honestly, I just said, I'm tired of watching this shit. so I had to make the personal decision to make sure that I got out of there, with a few minutes left in the game. And then also, secondly, it was a play that happened where, Ariel Floyd is such a great player. And, he got hit and fouled. And, I just felt like he wasn't getting the respect that he deserved. And I think respect is such an important thing here in Italian basketball. And guys like that who have a great history deserve a certain level of respect. And they also deserve to have a head coach who's going to fight for them if it feels like it's going in the wrong direction. So I decided to have 2 birds with 1 stone there and got myself an early exit and defend some of my guys.
There we go. So, Jamion, I coach as well. I'm a pre-development coach for the Pistons. So I have some questions for you, especially more on the coaching part of things. So, how big is it? You think it's important to have a film session with the players in Europe compared to, let's say, the NBA or college as well? Because in the NBA, you don't have much time to practice. Yeah. So the film work, I think, is very important, and the players have to be good in picking up images and replicate them on the court, right?
Yeah.
For defense or offense.
It's important. We do individual film here. I've been really big on that when I was in college. My mom and dad are both teachers. So I come from an educational background. And so, everything that we were taught when we were younger, like obviously the smaller classroom setting is better for people to learn. People have, the less people you have in a session, the more likely they're going to ask questions. We want to be in an environment where you're asking a lot of questions. I think when you're asking questions and you're curious, your mind's in a place to grow and improve. We want to do everything we can to be an environment where people learn. So we do individual film. We have defense and offensive coordinators And the majority of our film is done one-on-one.
Okay.
They sit down and meet with them. They show them their clips. And then, we'll have a session where we, like most teams, we'll do all personnel or something where we'll prepare everybody. But then we'll rotate. We'll go offense and defensive films with 5 to 6 guys in it. And then we'll follow up with individual film. So I really feel like that's really big. I know you're in the player development space, and a lot of player development guys are sitting down going one-on-one to develop guys. And I just think that's an unbelievable way to help someone get better. Like if you can get your guys to ask you questions about what you're seeing, and then you can create a conversation about what they're seeing and how they're approaching it and what you're seeing, man, that's going to be really great growth there. And that's going to be great learning for everybody.
Because usually in the NBA, you have 3-4 games a week.
Yeah.
In Italy, you start with 2 games a week. And then if you can become a very good 1 game a week, and then if you become a very good team, it's 2 games a week, right? So you have more time to actually practice on the court everything that you watch on film. So I think that's also very important for these guys to see it on the court, and it's a little bit more difficult to do that in the NBA than in Europe, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you come from, obviously when we talk about the difference in cultures, a big part of the difference in cultures for me was that my understanding of professional basketball was NBA, where you're playing way more games and practicing less, and then you come here, it's like sort of the opposite. So it took me a bit of time just to keep learning. I've tried to really ask a lot of questions to other coaches and again, great veteran players that I've been able to be with, because, you want to make sure you're practicing enough to have enough friction on your legs, but not too much where you're not explosive on game day. And that's a challenge that you got to really learn.
How do you manage the practice for the entire week? Because I remember my first year in Milan, we were playing 1 game a week, and the goal of the team was to qualify for EuroLeague, which we did, to play EuroLeague the next season. We did that, and we, of course, with EuroLeague, we didn't play as many games as they play right now, but we were playing twice a week. But for me, after so many years playing in the NBA, to play 1 game a week, it might be good for my body at my age, but like if you lose that game on Sunday, oh my God! I remember you have the entire week to prepare for the next game. It's just too long, because now I'm used to, I want to play. I lose a game in 2 days, I play, I forget about the game. Maybe you have a bad game on Monday, you have a great game on Wednesday, you happy,
Yeah. Yeah, we're about constant improvement and individual development. So one of the things that we do is, like, let's say we play Sunday we play, Monday we're off, Tuesday we'll come in, we do like the vitamin work, which is basically individuals. And we break the team up into 2 groups. So one group will go on Tuesday, one group will go on Wednesday, one group will go on Thursday, one group will go on Friday, right? So we break them up, so we'll do 30-minute individual for everybody on the team. They'll get at least 2 a week. I think that's important to continue to keep the sharpness. On Tuesday is really a fundamental day, and a day where you want to review the film. You want to look at the stuff from the film that you didn't do well, and you want to immediately get better at that. The rate of injury is pretty high after an off day. So on the Tuesday, we don't come in and bang. We might be on the young guys a little bit, doing more shell type of stuff, but really identifying exactly what we didn't do well in the game over the weekend, and just try to design the drill set to do that. On Wednesday, it's one of my favorite days of the week. It's competition day. You talked about the 2 games a week and how important they are, and just for your body and how you feel. So on the Wednesday, we split the teams up. Sometimes we let the guys pick the teams, and then we give them some individual. Then we give drills that are specific, maybe for the game this weekend, and things we need to improve on. But we think it's a day like to shock the system a little bit. So we'll come in, do vitamin work before with certain guys, and then we'll basically come in and play for 60 minutes. The play will be a little bit different. Sometimes we play some 1-on-1, sometimes we'll play some 4-on-4, but the aim is really to get to 5-on-5. It might be a great day to do some short situations, but we want to come in on competition day, and we want you playing, and we want you guarding different guys. And, we try to do different puzzle work where, if we're working on switching on certain actions, like we'll just put that in the drill set and be able to do that. It's really one of my favorite days, watching the guys compete. On Thursday, we usually do a get what you need day. I have a lot of veteran guys. Guys are a little bit over, guys are 28 and above, a lot of guys. So, we say, hey, whatever you need. If you need to come in and get a workout in, if you want to get a lift in, if you want to get a workout in, then coaches are available to do that. For the most part, I mean, we end up with almost half the team coming in, on the Thursday to get working anyway. I think that's important for the autonomy of your mind and ability to have choice and decision making. I think it's a reason why we've been pretty fresh, when we've run into some injuries the last few weeks, but outside of that, we've been really good on the weekends. Then Friday we come in, we got prep work for the team on Sunday. We do that. We'll film Saturday the same way. So Saturday we go only about 60 minutes. So we want to be in fresh. And on Sunday, the hay's in the barn. So you throw the ball up and go play and go compete.
Sunday, you do shoot around in the morning or no?
Yeah, so it depends. If the game is after 4, we'll shoot around. If the game is before 4, we won't shoot around. So we've kind of had a little mix of both. And the shoot around, we come in, really watch the film. First thing we do is watch about 15 minutes of film, a summary. Again, it's a little bit longer week. So the film stuff we cover on Wednesday or Thursday, we want to summarize for about 15 minutes on the Sunday. And then we'll come in, we'll do some, we'll stretch them, do some shooting drills. For me, honestly, it's really just about kind of getting the collective energy together. Guys aren't necessarily flying around, but I would like the first battle to be that battle that we're up, we're ready to attack it. And so we'll usually come in and shoot for 15 to 20 minutes as a team, and then we let guys kind of split up and go their own. So, but it kind of depends.
Not bad. That's interesting because it's so much different. It's crazy how like the schedule is so much different in the NBA, and it's so crazy. So, from your experience, Jamie, I have a couple more questions. What would you bring from your college experience, or what you brought to Italy, to the Italian basketball?
Yeah, well, we brought our offense.
That was missing in Italy.
Yeah, we brought our offense from college.
Okay, there we go.
We're running a lot of the same stuff. It's been great to watch it grow. I mean, when you get a guy who's a pro who can, again, like I always talk about layering concepts. One thing I'm big on is, you'll hear me talk about a couple things. You hear me talk about freedom versus autonomy. And freedom is I do whatever I want. There are no consequences. People think when you play basketball, like I want to play with freedom. I never wanted to be with people that could do whatever they wanted with no consequences. All right. I think that's a dangerous thing. But I really believe in autonomy. Autonomy is the power to make decisions and then the ability to take ownership over those decisions. I think that's really important. I want our players, every time you get the ball, there's 3 decisions to be made. And a lot of times it doesn't matter which decision I make. I just need to make a quick one. And so we're just really trying to encourage our players to be able to do that. So watching that grow, I think right now we're sitting fourth best offense in our league. That's pretty good. There's not a lot of teams who just gained the promotion who have been able to step in and go 4th best offense in the league right away. Basically doing a lot of the same stuff we did a year ago. So I think bringing that over. And number 2, I think honestly, how we treat people, how we interact. I think that's so important. And, I got a lot of grown men on my team, so I don't treat them like children. We talk about building an environment that's supportive, collaborative, and competitive. And we're going to do that as men together. We talk about having great trust and having the ability to figure out the answers as a unit, coaches and players working together. I've always tried to do that in college. And now, I get a chance to do it as a pro. And, I'm always amazed at what we're able to do together as a unit instead of just 4 minds working together as a coaching staff. Right now we're always operating with 16 or 17 guys working on the same problem and working in the same direction.
When you go on the road, let's say that on a Sunday you play, I don't know, you play Naples, Trapani or Naples on Sunday. I guess you fly to the city on Saturday. Yep. And you let the guys go out for dinner, or you keep the guys in the hotel?
What's interesting, Michael and I have been talking about letting the guys go out for dinner. Like we actually have no problem with the guys going out for dinner. We just end up always just doing dinner in the hotel. We've talked so much about it. Like it's always why don't we let these guys go out and do that? And, we have dinner in the hotel, and then sometimes the guys go out and, they're grown men. So it's not like, we have a bed check and all that stuff, but I've never checked it. We have great trust in our team. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, if you trust the men to be ready when the ball goes up and they consistently do that, I think that's the most important thing to be able to do. And, and so, Michael and I have talked a lot about, hey, let these guys go out. But, we kind of just sit there. And what's neat about this, I'll tell you, I think I've heard a couple guys on our team both years talk about this. What's neat about this, we sit down for dinner and these guys are there for about an hour together, laughing, joking. It's really an interesting thing. I've been on other teams where guys come down, you eat for 15 minutes and you go back up to your room, and we don't have that as a problem. These guys are down there and they also sit with different groups every single time. And, it's much more of like a collegiate feel, I think, where
this actually connects to one of my other questions. There was, what would you bring from Italy to USA? And one of my personal answers is actually team dinner or get together after the game, or go drink a beer after the game all together, something that is not much in the American culture. At least I don't see it as much in the NBA. I see 2-3 guys getting together, go dinner together, but actually have dinner together with 10, 15 players. I don't think I've seen that unless we organize it for them and we make them do it.
What's so crazy is all of us study the very best teams and organizations, right? So we study the Spurs, and maybe Oklahoma City's kind of moving their way there now, or, study the Warriors or the Chicago Bulls or whatever. You study these great teams. And one thing that all the great teams have in common is that they go to dinner together.
There we go.
Things they just go to dinner together. Anytime you listen to, and I've read so many things about the Spurs and Greg Popovich, and their culture is obviously one of the best in sports. And it's they just go and have dinner and drink wine. There's this power in food and power in truly breaking bread that connects everyone together, that everyone drops their guard. And I don't know why in American sport, it isn't done more. This this feeling of, to be the best, I have to be alone, is such a weakness in American sport. Because we can't do anything alone, So, and I don't feel that here.
There is a great book. I don't know if I know that Federico does not like reading, but I'm sure that Jamion likes reading.
Yes.
There is a great book that I read that is called The Good Life. And it talks about this study that was made at Harvard for many, many years, where they study the health of people with great relationships around them and people that don't have great relationships around them. And having great relationships is tested, is a number, is not just an opinion. It makes your life better and longer. And so I think this is a small example, but I think is huge to have to enjoy the time with people that you like and people that you work with, and so dinner might seem like a small thing, but Harvard says that is good for your life, for your lifespan. So it's I play with a couple of teams where the owner tried to I don't know. I was in Atlanta, my first year in Atlanta. The owner was basically booking for every road trip. He booked a different restaurant for every city that we went to, and whoever wanted to go can go, and who didn't want to go didn't have to go. Of course, I was always there first and leaving after everybody, but not a lot of my teammates were coming, and he decided, for example, on my second season in Atlanta, we were not doing that much, which was sad news for me, because I really liked it, enjoyed it. And, you go there and you drink some wine, have great food, and you can have a laugh and talk about everything. And I think is healthier than staying in your room playing video games, or I don't know, maybe some of them were using the excuse to talk to the family, but I have a family too. I have 2 kids, and you have time to talk to your wife and your kids, even if you spend some time at dinner with your colleagues. So
you're so spot on with that. And I think obviously we're still establishing what we are here at Pallacanestro Trieste, and we want to be the very best at everything, but you can't be the best at everything on day one. But you can be the best in the world at how you treat people. And you can really strive for that every single day. And, that starts with the environment that we're trying to create. And, you talk about like playing with joy. Well, you don't play with joy unless you enjoy the people that you play with. You don't battle through adversity and battle through resilience unless you trust the person that you're beside. And you can't trust the person beside you if you don't know them. So, I just think there's so many little things that we're kind of talking about that I think make great teams. I don't know if here we're always going to have the most amount of money in a league. Maybe one day we will. But I would ask people this on our college teams. I would say to someone, like, what would you do for the person that you love? And love's like such a heavy word. What would you do for the person that you love? And they would say, well, I do anything for the person that I love. And so I'll say, well, like if I can get you to really care and nearly love the guy next to you in the locker room, I think we're going to have a pretty good team if we can get everybody with that kind of fight. And so I've always felt like that's sort of the push that you try to get to. Again, love's a heavy word. We're not going to love them like we love our spouses, but we can really have a love. And
Who knows? Somebody might.
Especially when you play one game a week. I think that to try to focus and create the culture that you are talking about, I think you have the time to do it, and you have the time also to organize something to do that. And so I think is key, especially if I know that I gotta spend, like I was saying before, 5 or 6 days of practice before the next game. If I know that I can come in and practice with guys that I like and I like to be competitive with and spend some time with in the gym, it's great. If I know that I gotta spend 5 days with my brother in the gym, I'll be like, fuck that, I'm gonna stay home.
Jamion, before I let you go, I have one more question, and is more of an advice for young coaches, young player development like me. I look up to people like you. So what's your advice for me and for us to be able to reach the highest level?
Don't be afraid to coach the guys. There's so many times that I meet coaches and, they have great ideas, but they're afraid to share those ideas with the people that need them most. Like I would always say, like, don't share them in the meeting space, share them to the guy, and work to build a relationship enough where you can be honest and where there's a level of trust there. Every player wants to get better, and every player wants to know that the person across from them cares about them. And, basketball players are tricky because we're so used to people coming in and out of our lives for whatever reason. So if you can really prove to them that, like, we may not be here forever together, but while we're here, I'm here for you and I'm here to help you get better. And that's all I care about. Hoopers always respect that.
Yes, sir. Amen. Thank you so much, Jamion, for coming to our podcast. Guys, we're at the end of the episode. Make sure you like, comment, and share. And until the next one.
Ciao, ragazzi.
Grazie, Jamion.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Fuori dal blocco, prendo la palla, tiro da 3. I due fratelli spiegano il gioco solo per te. Apri le ali a testa alta, segui il podcast. Gallinaria